Life is so unpredictable. You never know what it's going to throw at you. Today on our lounge, let's help OP navigate through some hard questions. Up first, OP is the only adult in this relationship. Last year, boyfriend, 33 male, quit his job without telling me, and now he refused to look for another job. I, 31 female, am tired of paying for everything. My boyfriend, 33 male, quit his job last year without telling me. I only found out 2 days before the rent was due. We split everything 50-50. When I asked him for his part of the rent. When I asked, he simply told me that he quit his job because he was tired of working at that place. Since then, I've been paying for everything, including rent, food, gas, bills, and anything he needs. I had to work 2 jobs while going to school for a while. It was hard. But I finally finished school a couple of months ago, and I found my dream job. I make enough to live comfortably, even take care of my boyfriend, and still have money for saving. However, I still want him to get a job to support himself because I think as an adult, he needs a job. But I feel like he relies on me too much, and he thinks since my job pays well, he doesn't have any reason to work. He always says things like, "You make good money now, so maybe you could buy my dream car," or "You should open a business for me to run." It bothers me a lot. I don't mind supporting my partner financially if there's a legit reason to prevent him from working, but it's not the case. He spends most of his time playing games, meeting up with friends, or just at home watching movies. I still have to do all the chores and take care of our dogs. His family thinks he's been working to take care of me so that I can finish school, which is not true. Now they think I was able to finish school and got a job all because of him. I don't even want to explain it to them. I just want him to get a job and have a future. When I tried to talk to him, he told me I'm not supportive, and now that I have a good job, I look down on him. What should I do? Is it even worth it to try to talk some sense into him? I don't want to start dating at this age, but I feel I can't keep doing this. Edit. Some people pointed out quit, not quitted, so I edited to correct that. Sorry, I can't change the title. English is my second language, so I still make mistakes here and there. Thank you for the correction. Edit 2. Wow, I didn't expect this many comments. I can't reply to everyone, but I did read all the comments and I really appreciate it. Many people have asked why him? Why I stay for years? What did I see in him? So I just want to answer it here. We started off pretty normal. We split everything 50-50 and I had no problem with that. But throughout the years, he started showing his true self. I was in school and school was the most important thing to me at that point, so I invested all my time and energy into it. I was in a PhD program, so I had stipend around $30,000 a year, which was enough for myself but not for 2 people. After he quit his job, I was very stressed out, but I had to focus on school and tried to do everything I could to survive. I didn't have time to really think about my personal life, and I also didn't want to go through any changes in life, so I just let it be. In addition, he guilt trips me a lot, so I feel bad for him. But now that I have a stable job, I have time to really think about my future. I don't see myself being with him long term. I don't think it would be as easy as, "Hey, let's break up," because I know he wouldn't let it go that easy. But I'll start planning to get out. Maybe ask some friends for support. His name is not on the lease, so I'll stay where I am and he'll have to move. Let's see what the advice is offered in this scenario. You break up with him. He's not a partner, he's a freaking leech. Stop trying to control him and control what you can. Break up, kick him out, or move out. Find someone worthy of you. I'm with the comment. He's not a partner, he's a leech. This isn't a relationship at all. He's totally using you. And for being a 33-year-old man, that's shameful. You deserve better. Way better. And you should tell everyone the truth. Update. It's been 2 months since I posted about my situation on this sub, and I just want to give you an update of how things went after I made that post. Before I go into the details, I just wanted to say I really appreciate everyone here. After I resolved everything, I occasionally would go back to my original post and read the comments to remind myself that I've done the right thing. After posting on here, I went home from work that day and asked my friends to come over but stay in the parking lot while I sort things out with my now ex-boyfriend. Before I could even start the conversation, he told me his friend got a new car recently and how I should get him a new car, since I can afford it. I got really upset and told him he could have gotten a car himself if he was working. I told him how stressful it has been with me and him not working and fully relying on me. He started the, "My life is already miserable and you're not being supportive" talk. I was sick of it. So I said I wanted to end things here and he needs to move out ASAP. As expected, he got upset and threw a tantrum. He was yelling, throwing stuff around, and when he realized I was being dead serious, He started threatening to hit and kill my dogs. I jumped in between him and the dogs to stop him from harming them. Then he pushed me and grabbed me by the neck. I was able to get him off of me, put the dogs into a room, and called my friends to tell them to come in and call the police. He was trying to hit me, but my friends got there in time. I think he got scared when he saw my friends showed up. So we backed down, but still verbally telling them to get out of the way or he would hit them too. The police came. They took him away and told him he wouldn't be able to come into the apartment anymore. He had to move, but would need to be escorted by the police if he wants to grab his stuff later. It was a horrible experience, but it showed me that I've done the right thing. I thought that was the end to everything. But his auntie called me when she found out and tried to gaslight me, saying that he didn't do anything wrong and I was just upset, so I called the police. I told myself I no longer have to deal with this crap. So I told her to leave me alone and hung up. His family would continue to harass me, but stopped when I threatened to report them to the police. I continue to pay the rent and bills like how I've always been doing. The only thing that I've changed is how I'm now so much happier. I'm the happiest I've ever been in years. I just got a promotion last week. I've been spending time enjoying life with the extra money I have since I'm no longer having to pay for his expenses. As for my ex, he's moved in with his aunt. I got a protection order, so we are not in contact at all. Let's see how the community reacts. First up, wonderful update. Congrats to you. You're strong and capable, and now you can live in peace. The OP replies, thank you. It feels great to wake up in the morning and don't have to worry about what kind of crap is he going to give me today. And, oh my gosh, the extra saving that I have since I'm no longer financially responsible for a full-grown adult. The next person chimes in, I'm so sorry you went through that. No one deserves to feel unsafe in their own home. You did the smart thing, calling your friends and the police. You are strong and so capable of having a fulfilling life that is all your own now. I'm very proud of you. The OP replies, I was expecting an ugly breakup, but not a violent one. I'm glad I had my friend there. Otherwise, I really don't know how things would turn out. Way to go, OP. You really cut off the dead weight and you've totally elevated. We're extremely proud of you. I'm just so sorry that he hurt you and threatened your beloved dogs. I'm glad he's out of the picture and you took steps to protect yourself. Keep shining, OP. What do you make of this? Has your partner ever tried to leech off of you? What did you think? Up next, OP gets a second chance. Cousin, 24 female, falsely accused me, male 31, of sexual assault. Now my family is contacting me after almost 10 years. I first posted this on relationships, and it got auto-removed, and I got no answer when I tried to get them to check it manually. Please note that no one involved is under 18 anymore, and the situation did not involve sexual abuse. That's the whole point. Hi, I've never had an account on Reddit before, but someone on another forum linked this subreddit, and I've been reading some stories. If this is the wrong subreddit, please let me know. Also, English is not my first language, so bear with me. It's pretty much like the title says. I just feel so lost on what to do. This is tearing up wounds and old rage is building again. Let me give some backstory. I grew up in what was probably the most normal of normal households. Parents worked a lot, but still managed to care for me and my 3 older sisters. We were never super close as a family, but never had any issues either. Same goes for my extended family. They always lived a few hours away, but we saw each other during summer holidays or Christmas and always got along great. But when we got older, we naturally grew apart as everyone had their own lives. I'm now 31. In 2014, when I was 22 and attending university, I got a phone call from my mother that turned my life upside down. I remember I didn't even answer it at first because I was gaming with friends, but she called again immediately after the first call. This was an unwritten rule in the family. If you call twice like that, it's important, like someone died important. So when she called again, I excused myself and answered, only to hear chaos on the other end, like people were arguing. But when my mom realized I had answered, it sounded like she went to another room and closed the door. I just asked what was going on and I heard she was crying. My memory of this conversation is a bit blurry, but she basically asked me if I had something to confess regarding E. E is my cousin on my mom's side and is 7 years younger than me, 15 at the time. At that point, I hadn't even seen E for several years. I just said no and asked what this is about. She just cried even harder and started accusing me of sexually assaulting E back when we were children. That E had told everything to my sister, and that my sister told my mother and my aunt. E had told them that back when she was 9 and I was 16, she'd been playing in my room when I came in and started feeling her under her clothes and kissing her. My mother screamed at me to say something, but I couldn't even speak. It was also absurd. I remember thinking that must be some bad joke. The last thing I remember saying was that it's not true and that E is lying. But then my mom goes on saying that how E gave such a detailed description of where and how. Then she kept asking something like, "Did you do this? Did you do this?" And I just screamed back at her, "No!" each time. It all ended with my mom putting me on speaker and both my mom and dad saying that they don't want anything to do with me and never to contact them again. 2 of my sisters texted me later that day, pretty much saying that I'm disgusting and they blocked me. I know it's weird, but after that call, I went to have a long shower. To this day, I still don't know why I did that. After calming down, I started calling and texting everyone, even E. No one answered, and the ones who hadn't blocked my number by then quickly said so. The only thing I heard back was from my father, who texted me to stop contacting them and that they need to heal. That was 9 years ago, and I haven't spoken to anyone in my family since that day. To say this effed me up is an understatement. I was living in a haze for weeks after that and hardly ate at all. It didn't help that this was right before I was supposed to defend my bachelor's thesis and was already stressed out. Luckily, my coworker sensed something was up and saved me by controlling the conversation so that I got the easy parts. Without him, I'm sure I would have failed. Needless to say, no one came to my graduation. Then started the worst period of my life. I spent the first year expecting the cops to knock on my door and arresting me for sexual abuse. I didn't land any jobs, just living off my saved money. I drank a lot and did oxy. I also grew resentful and violent. The only reason I didn't hurt anyone is because no one was around. My neighbor called the cops on me once after I had smashed a glass, but I managed to convince the officers that I had just dropped it, and they went away since there were no others inside my apartment. Instead of sleeping, I spent my nights planning how I could hurt E and make sure no one ever found out, even thinking how I could actually do the things she'd accused me of, but much worse. I know, I'm not proud of that. I landed my first real job in my field in late 2015. Only then did things start to improve. I focused all my time on my job, as it gave me something normal to do. Recovery was a slow process, but I drank less, sober now for 4+ years, and smiled more. I lived cheap and earned good money, so I made a point of buying myself a nice gift for my birthdays, a VR headset, a motorcycle, Legos, etc. And last year, I moved from my crappy apartment and bought a small house. It was an old dream of mine to have my own garage and a garden to care for. This has boosted me even more. So my life is okay now. I still got problems. I've been on antidepressants for the last few years, and while they help, it's not in a happy way. They simply remove the dark thoughts and replace them with dead ones. My trust in other people is close to non-existent. I've tried dating, but only been on 2 dates with 2 different women. It's really hard to speak like a normal person when it comes down to it. And what I would tell a potential partner when she asked about my family. Oh, you know, they accused me of a heinous crime and we're not talking anymore. But I didn't do it. I swear. My field is very male-dominated, so the only woman I really speak to is my therapist, who I like a lot. If this text was difficult to follow, I apologize. I'm not good with words on the best of days, and I started rambling a bit when it all came back to me. It's already getting long, so I will fast forward to my current issue. A few days ago, I received a text from my mother. It felt unreal, and I was scared to open it at first, so I just stared at the notification for hours before opening it. Yesterday, another text followed. Translated, they basically say, "Hi, my name. It's been so long since we talked. We miss you and want to know how you're doing." Here she writes a long text about my sisters and how my nieces and nephews are getting big. I didn't even know I was an uncle. "Know that we love you and always will. Mom and Dad." Text 2. "Hi, my name. We understand if you don't want to talk to us after what happened, but please listen. Last month, the subject of you was brought up at a family gathering. During this, E was downplaying everything that had happened to her. It got so awkward that she finally admitted that nothing happened and that she probably just dreamt it. We were all appalled by this. When we last spoke, we wanted to protect E and did the only thing we thought we could do. We know that's not excusing how you were treated. What E did was wrong, and we're all angry at her. We have called everyone that knew and told them the truth. We all want to speak with you and your sisters and want you to meet their families. Please write back if you can find it in you to forgive us. Mom and Dad." So yeah, that's my situation right now. I haven't answered, but they no doubt know I've seen it. Truth be told, I'm seething. So many old, crappy memories are now stirring again. I don't want to forgive them, and I wouldn't trust myself to be in the same room as them right now. Part of me wants to call my family and unleash everything on them, to guilt them with everything I went through until they all hit their rock bottom. Then dedicate my life to make my cousin's life as miserable as possible. The other part wants to ignore them and continue with my okay-ish life, with my motorcycle and my garden to keep me company. I don't have any friends. The only people I speak to are my coworkers, but we're not really close. I've called my therapist's clinic, but they told me she's on vacation and won't be available for weeks, and I don't want anyone other than her. So that leaves internet strangers. So please, where to go from here? Do I ignore them and continue as is, or do I answer? And if so, what to even write? I'm pretty sure meeting them in person would be a bad idea for a foreseeable future, but I'm not even sure how my life can improve from picking up those old threads. As embarrassing as it may sound, I've dreamed about the day they apologized to me, throwing themselves to the ground and kissing my feet. Texting seems so anticlimactic now. Edit. Holy crap, I went to bed yesterday after answering a couple of comments. I was happy when someone just said to wait for my therapist to come back, something that had flown over my head. Now there's 1,300 comments. I can't possibly answer them all, but I'll try to read all of them when I get home from work. I just want to address something I saw a few people mention, that my therapist wouldn't leave for that long without telling me. I don't know how this works in other places, but this is a state-run clinic, no hourly rate or anything. I got assigned to her when first going there, which means she will continue to get me on meetings that follow. But that is not 100%. If she's on leave or sick, I might get someone else. 4 to 6 weeks of vacation is not uncommon. Yikes, OP. I'm sorry. It would be hard to live through such false accusations as these. I commend you for coming back on the other side. Situations like this are tough as it is. He said, she said. I think your family was truly doing what they felt was right at the time. Honestly, maybe you need the closure. Sit on the texts for now until it all sunk in. There's no rule that says you have to respond right away. I feel like nowhere in the messages did she actually apologize, though. What do you think? Would you respond? If so, how? Thank you for following along today on Our Lounge. Before you go, be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you have something you want to share regarding today's content, we want to hear it. Until next time.